Alright, so I am back, and I'm a little rusty at this, so bear with us. We've got the 86 series Megatron that we'll be looking at. Studio series, right? That's what it is? Double check that. I have it pulled up here. The Transformers, the movie, Studio Series, Litter Class, Megatron action figure. That's what the official title is on Big Bad Toy Store. So not 86 series technically, I guess. But I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, there he is in his tank mode, and yeah, before we get into this, big shout out to Chris for sending this my way to take a look at. My apologies to him and everyone else out there that's taken so long to get here. It's been kind of hectic here, just as it always has been, which is, you know, one of the main reasons why I stopped doing the reviews. Is just I you know, in between work and health issues, it's been a challenge to find the time to just, you know, sit down and do this. But yeah, so apologies for that, but we are here, so we will take a look at him. So here he is in his tank mode. I don't think I did the best job getting it back into tank mode while I was messing with it, but good enough. It does a decent job of being a tank. You know, we've seen better tank Transformers in the past. I think Leader Class Brawl from the movie in tank mode anyway was probably the best tank. But you know, it's passable. Kinda, sorta, not really. But yeah, so he does come with his little beam sword that he had in the movie. Just one piece of gray plastic with the purple and metallic purple painted on there. And he also does come with this little mini version of Gun Megatron. So very, I couldn't tell you if it's the same, because I don't have it anymore, of the Gun Megatron that came with the reissue Starscream. But it's very similar at the very least. It's a very similar piece. So just, yeah, gray plastic with the gunmetal painted on with the little Tampo Decepticon logo there. So he rolls. He's got wheel here, here, and here. Honestly, if you get him, I don't think I would display him in tank mode myself. But then again, I don't typically display any of my Transformers in their vehicle modes anyway. You can also pull this out if you want a smaller cannon. It does look better with it in, I will say. But, yeah, it's all up to you. So let's go ahead and get him transformed. So pull the arms out, and then here's the cannon. And to transform the cannon, you just pull this piece up and flip it around just like that. And that's it. I'm going to set that aside. Alright, we can pull these pieces here out. Oh. That just popped right off, didn't it? Alright, we'll get that put back on here in a second. Alright, so kind of loosen up the legs a little bit here so we can work on them. Pull this piece out, and it down and around, and you can flip the toe forward. And then we open up this panel here. Okay, first we want to pull this panel here down. Open up this panel. This is where this was, I believe. Oh, it's on this side. Okay, so you open this up and then you can flip this panel in and then you close that up. And you want to repeat that up here. Open that up, flip that in, close that up. Then you can take both of these and they come together like that. Flips around and tabs into this gray. There's a little female port here, plug here. Tabs in, and then you straighten out the leg. And this just kind of tabs in everywhere. This piece will fold up. There's a tab here, goes in that slot there. And then you can straighten out the foot. Just like that. And we'll repeat the process for this side. So flip this out, straighten out the toe. Open up this panel, or flip this panel down, open this up, flip this in, close. Open, flip in, close, collapse together, straighten out, I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, just like that, and there you have his legs done. So then we want to rotate this whole body section around, and then we can take the legs, straighten them out, and then these panels come to the side. Rearrange the camera here. Alright, now fold this section here out, and then you take this piece here, fold this in, and then flip the head out, collapse the torso up, this will come down, and this will lock in, completing the torso. Then you take these arm pieces here, and we want to rotate them in, and just kind of folds up in on itself. It's one of those, like, it's hard to explain what you're doing. You just kind of have to do it. But eventually you'll get it in there, right? Am I doing this right? There's a lot of little hinges on this thing. I think it's like that. Nope. Maybe flip it around. Yeah, that's the way. Alright, and then you can just kind of collapse the side pieces in. There we go. Alright, and then we open up this panel here, flip out the hand, straighten that out, and then we take this, actually we'll rotate this all the way around, and then we close it up like that. Same thing over here. hand down, closing it up, and there you go. Alright, before we put the extra pieces on him, let's go over the articulation real quick. So his head is on ball peg from the torso to the head, so you get the side to side, left, right, a little up, a little down, pretty much anything you need there. Yeah. Shoulders, you get the butterfly forward and back. You can manipulate these things to kind of get a little bit more movability in there if you needed to, but I don't think you really need to. Swivels all the way around, hinges up and down, bicep swivel, bends at the elbow, wrist swivels. The bottom three fingers are connected, so you got a hinge, and top finger you got hinge and hinge. So very much like the MP, the first MP Starscream's posability. Waist swivels. These pieces keep wanting to go into the back. But you got legs up to here, back to there, out to the side, thigh swivel, bends at the knee, rocker, and tilt. Some things have a tendency of untabbing a little bit here and there, but not terrible. And then to give him his little accessories, this you can just plug into the back here. Give him that over-the-shoulder cannon look. And then you got his big cannon. And there you go. There is the 86 Megatron. For size comparison, here he is with the 86 Prime. Also, still on loan to me from Chris. Eventually I gotta send these back. And here he is with the Siege Starscream. I know we're getting a new Seeker mold coming up. So I'm interested in that. But there you go. He does, like I said, he does come with the little handgun, which you can plug into Starscream's hand here. And he holds that just fine. And then he does come with the little beam sword, which you're gonna have to wedge it in there, I believe. So just kind of like that, and there you go. It is not impressive looking at all. The beam sword, I mean. So ultimately, for me, this Megatron is flat out the best Megatron that we've ever gotten, in my opinion. Anybody that's watched my channel for a while knows I never liked the MP Megatron. I thought it was junky, and it has like lots of those hinges in the back and in the arms to make it look. It just doesn't look very solid. Whereas this guy, he cleans up. Look at this. I mean, yes, there's the cheat that he's a tank and not a gun. So, there is that. Don't get me wrong. I do acknowledge that. But I've always said Megatron's one of those characters, like Soundwave, that doesn't necessarily need to have an alt mode. They just need to come with a scale size version of what their alt mode's supposed to be. So, yeah. I would give this guy a solid 10. Like, just straight up a solid 10. He's on pre-order right now in Big Bad Toy Store for $60, and that's a little bit of a chunk of change there. But to have a Megatron that scales with your Chug collection, that actually looks like Megatron, I think is well worth $60. Just like the Prime, it's probably the best version of the Prime that we're gonna get. He's got a bit of a backpack. He's got a bit of a backpack here, but all things considered, he does look like the animated Prime, but in a way that is not just like straight cartoon, which is nice. There's that part of me that appreciates the toon aesthetics, like Fans Toys figures, but there's a part of me that like kind of wants kind of that fresh, but still look like what they're supposed to look like, and this is definitely a good case of them hitting it right on the head. I'm blown away, and I might get this guy for my collection. It's one of those, like, I don't really have the money for it right now, and that's the part that's holding me back. And I'm not actively collecting at the moment, so it's kind of hard for me to justify this kind of purchase. But it's if I were, this is the Megatron I'd get, without any consideration for any others. I mean, really, when I look at the MP options, you had Make Toys, you had DX9, you had X Transbots, and the MP. And of those, I think DX9 and Make Toys were the best ones. But they still don't quite hit that spot that I would want it for a Megatron. And then for Chug, you got the Siege one, which I never really like. He's okay. And the Earthrise one's a little bit better, but also not as good because he doesn't hold together as well. But ultimately, this is the best Megatron we've got. He's amazing. So yeah, I've got the MP Rat Trap to look at, and the Transart Dinobot that I'm gonna try to look at. That thing's a fucking nightmare. For somebody that's rusty, bear in mind I'm pretty rusty when it comes to Transformers. So for somebody that's rusty, that thing is a fucking nightmare, and it shouldn't be. I might just get him into bot mode and do an overview, but we'll see. The Rat Trap at least isn't as nightmare fuel. But yeah, as far as this goes, if you're on the fence thinking about getting it, I can't recommend this guy more. He's, like I said, the best Megatron we've gotten. When I first got it and was messing with it, I jokingly sent a message to Chris saying, "Hey, you ain't getting this guy back." He will, but it's just he's that good. He's almost friendship ending good. No, I wouldn't do that to anybody, but you know what I mean. It's just like, if I had this toy as a kid, man, I would have been so happy to play with this guy in the playground. Just like he just really looks like Megatron. So yeah, I guess that's all I got. I think John wanted me to put him up with the Armada Megatron, but that's buried in the basement at the moment. So sorry, John, can't do it. But you got the Seeker scale. So yeah, I guess that's all I got.